It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Here is Rob Carson. How are you? Again, we're using a different system for the broadcast. And, I got to work out the kinks. You know, I'm a middle-aged man, for crying out loud. Using all sorts of technology that a year ago I didn't even know existed. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. Your comments are welcome as the show progresses. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me on LibertyOneTV.com. If you would become a member, that would be great. Yeah, all you got to do is pay $4. $4 a month. $4 a month. What the heck do you pay for that Starbucks latte? Right? Look at this thing right here. That's my Column Draft Latte. I buy these, when I can afford them. That's $4. This right here. And these are great, by the way. They're awesome. But it's $4. So if you join LibertyOneTV.com, you're going to be able to watch the show on your TV. You're going to be able to watch it, on your computer, on your mobile device. You're going to get access to all of the archives, like Jermaine Buzzio's and, So join. $4 a month. We'd really appreciate it. How about that? Well, let's get busy talking about stuff, shall we? Did you realize today the Labor Department said initial claims for state unemployment benefits dropped 24,000 to a seasonally adjusted 209,000, meaning that's the lowest level since 1969. All right? So Bryan Adams' song, Summer of 69, that was played ad nauseum on radio. Yeah. It was a good year. But now, 49 years later, unemployment claims lowest in 49 years. MAGA. Make America great again, kids. Make America great again. Food stamp usage drops over 500,000 people in 1 month. Can you believe this? Total of 587,792 people discontinued their participation between December 2017 and January 2018. That's pretty good. So a lot of people are saying, we don't need it anymore. And I think that's great. I think it's absolutely terrific. We at the Carson household, we are struggling. And it's because I don't have a job, unfortunately. And I've been trying my darndest to do it. But I do this. But this is good news for the economy. Good news for the economy. In a little while, I'm going to tell you about the Democrat plan for the economy. And I seriously doubt there's going to be a blue wave. Okay, I don't like this blue wave crap because the Democrats are red, they are socialist, they are leftist, they are not blue. This was something that was created to distract the 2000 election of Barack Obama, and I don't subscribe to it. It's bullcrap. It is absolute bullcrap. We have a sponsor that I want to introduce you to. 4th of July is coming up. Couple months away. And this is a really cool product. Let me show you this. This is a really cool product. Got to meet the guy who created this the other night. What it is a remote for your fireworks. So you can set it up. As you can see, my sports memorabilia shelf in the background and my 1981 bottle of Coca-Cola from when Iowa won the Rose Bowl. I was never a big Iowa fan. I just got the Coke. I've moved with that damn thing like 10 times. It's stupid. Anyway, Firefly. That's what it's called. You take the fuses from the fireworks and you plug it in, and then you just use your iPhone or your iPad, whatever. And you can anyway, sorry, I was just getting a text. It's a terrific product. Here's a little short video. I've got a little short video about this terrific product, and you can order it, by the way. If you want to put on a fireworks display to end all fireworks displays, shootfirework or shootfirefly.com. Shootfirefly.com. This is not, encouraging any sort of violence to flying insects with rear ends that light up. But this is a really, really cool product. Let me go to the main camera again and then show you kind of a cool, I'll show you kind of a cool little video of the Firefly. Because I'm a pyro when it comes to fireworks on the 4th of July. I absolutely love it. Here's what the product is all about, ladies and gentlemen.
When it comes to throwing an explosive summer party, you're the man with a plan and an impressive amount of fireworks.
That's me.
That's where Firefly comes in, a revolutionary fireworks firing system.
Oh, hell yeah. You can even program music.
That's a fireworks show done right. That's Firefly.
I love that. I love it. Again, guys, if you want to order that product, it is shootfirefly.com. Shootfirefly.com. Pretty darn cool. So the big story is Kanye West, right? Kanye West tweeting his support for Donald Trump. All right? Right? Basically saying that, Barack Obama was in the White House for 8 years. Nothing happened in Chicago. Well, that's what he said. And it's truthful. And it was a story that was ignored by the national media. But he has said, you don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because according to the Democrat Party, if you are an African-American person, you do not have the right to stray off the plantation. Remember that? A few years ago, Hillary Clinton talked about straying off the plantation, whatever. There's a Democrat plantation, baby. There is a Democrat plantation, and it is unbelievable. You are not allowed to have free thought. You are not allowed to disagree with the mob. You have to be a Democrat. You have to be, if you're a black person. That's it. And what the hell has the Democrat Party done to black people? I think this exposes the left and the Democrat Party for what they are. They are not. Liberal used to be supposedly. I remember hearing this years ago when I first got into radio about 25 years ago. And I said liberal meant open-minded. No, it doesn't. It does not. Liberal in this country means closed-minded. It means that you have to think the way of the party, or you will be ostracized and destroyed. Now, I haven't had a chance to see the Twitter feed of Kanye West. Not a big follower. But he has kind of walked it back, I guess, a little bit. His wife, Kim Kardashian, has also walked it back a little bit. He said, my wife just called me and she wanted me to make this clear to everyone. I don't agree with everything Trump does. I don't agree 100% with anyone but myself. You do. You gotta march the party line. John Jones is an African-American Democrat running in Michigan. He's a black guy. I hate African-American. Dear Lord in heaven. I mean, I'm an Irish-American, German-American, English-American. What the hell? Jeez. He's a black guy, He's not from Africa. Maybe his roots were there, hundreds of years ago, but whatever. But anyway, he's speaking out. And Kanye West, by the way, has said basically, well, people are saying of Kanye West, if you support Donald Trump, you must be mentally ill. You lose the argument. You really expose yourself when you are in an argument and you say, oh, well, you must be mentally ill because the way that. Or you must be racist. Racist is always used when you're losing an argument. When liberals are losing an argument, they use racist and you're mentally ill and whatever. Late night TV last night was all about this. Stephen Colbert basically saying, put down the phone, you're insane. Here is this Michigan Republican running for Senate, and I hope this may be, I'm not terribly optimistic, I'm hoping that maybe this could be the beginning of a movement. Here's the problem. You still have to contend with black people in this country going home for Thanksgiving, and the conservative member of the family is made to feel terrible about his or her beliefs. That's why you still have to fight that, because it's in homes everywhere. You know, my father was a Democrat. My father was a Democrat. Now, he was a Roosevelt Democrat. He was a World War II veteran. But by God, he'd never leave that ideology. Never leave that ideology. We didn't talk a lot about politics when I was a kid. We just didn't. My mother is a conservative. Anyway, here is this candidate, John Jones, talking about the accusation that Kanye West must be insane to support Trump.
Many people have suggested that Kanye West is out of his mind. In an era when mental health is such a serious issue, by trivializing it like this is terrible. But the biggest thing is a free-thinking person is a threat to the Democratic marketing machine. That
was good. Oh, that was good. Let's listen to it again.
Mentally unbalanced, as many people have suggested that Kanye West is out of his mind. In an era when mental health is such a serious issue, by trivializing it like this is terrible. But the biggest thing is a free-thinking person is a threat to the Democratic marketing machine that poses itself as the only solution for America's when you take God out of government, then you make government your God, and that's exactly what the liberal progressive left want. I believe in faith and family, God and country, and service before self, and I'm going to be fighting for our conservative values in Washington.
Now, I'm sure, absolutely sure, he's been called an Uncle Tom because of that. That was yesterday on Fox and Friends. You know he was being called an Uncle Tom because he said that. And I mean, honestly, this is 2018. We're still using the expression, well, not we, but liberals and Democrats, they're still using that. Think about that. Think about that. An Uncle Tom, being called an Uncle Tom in 2018. And the reason why you're called an Uncle Tom is because, it's like you're losing the argument, call him an Uncle Tom. You're losing the argument, call him a racist. That's just the way it is. Really is it rings hollow. I remember years ago in the early 90s, I was on the radio, and I said, the more you use the word racist when racism isn't involved, the more you cheapen the argument. And I got to tell you, it's crying wolf. It is crying wolf. I don't know when this is going to change, but I want you to think about this. What has the Democrat Party done for life for African Americans? Did you realize there were more business owners? And obviously there were a lot of things that needed to be done in the 1960s with regard to race, but there were more African American business owners, African American black dads stayed married and had children. And then you had the war on poverty. And then you had, ADC and all this stuff that would literally require a visit from a bureaucrat to your home to see if there were men's shoes under the bed. Because you couldn't get the benefit unless there was no man in the house. Then, of course, the decline of the culture in this country for a lot of different reasons, thuggery, rap, and I'm not saying this is all on the black side, okay? All right, because there's a lot of crap going on white, particularly poverty-stricken whites in this country, who aren't privileged, by the way. But there are broken families in white households as well. There are. Candace Owens is taking some heat because she was speaking at a university. I think this was over the weekend. And she said that blacks are ideological slaves and pawn to the Democrat Party. This all ties together. This all ties together, and it's true. And it's true. And I don't understand it. Remember when Donald Trump, he said to African Americans, he says, "What do you have to lose. You look at poverty in the inner city. You look at fatherless homes, 70%. You look at the abortion rate. Over 50% of African-American black babies are aborted before they are born. All by design. Margaret Sanger. She was legitimately a white supremacist. We hear a lot of people, saying there's white supremacists here and white supremacists. Bullcrap. It's bullcrap. Yes, there are white supremacists, and generally they're very sparse in numbers, and they appear on the Jerry Springer Show. But again, losing the argument. I'm losing the argument, so you're a white supremacist. You're a racist, you're a white supremacist, you're an Uncle Tom. Here is Candace Owens. She's 28 years old. She is kind of a growing figure with regard to conservative punditry. Check this out.
What is happening right now in the black community, you're going to hear it in this room first. There's an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history.
She's calling out Black Lives Matter, and they're shouting her down, which is what they do.
Utilize their history, and you come in here with more emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. More emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. It's embarrassing. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged.
Thank you. And this is so glorious. This is so glorious, and it cuts to the center of it. Okay, this is the victim mentality. These are kids who've never gone through anything. I've said this before. They've never gone through anything, but they need to create a crisis. And what they're doing is they're bringing back 1968. That's what they're doing. And they never had anything to do with it. Here's a little bit more for this one. I love this woman.
American.
And on Saturday, Kanye West praised Owens on Twitter, and he wrote this, quote, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks."
Yeah, well, Kanye West is a billionaire. All right, Kanye West is a billionaire. All right, if you think that America is truly racist, and listen, there's racism. Of course, there's always going to be racism. There's racism in every damned country in the damned world. But it's not worse. It hasn't got worse. People are not being oppressed. This is absolute bullcrap by a spoiled, entitled group of children. Here's Kanye, or I should say Kanye. Here is Candace talking to Sean about her speech and the attacks she's endured.
But not everyone of Owens is a fan with compliments and support Kanye West support. Look at what Tom Arnold went on a sexist, brutal, vicious, hateful, racist tirade on Twitter. Here's just some of what he tweeted. Aside from being an insane alt-right race pimp, Candace Owens thinks...
Race pimp? You want to talk about a race pimp? Let's talk about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. You want to talk about a race pimp?
Donald Trump is literally the Messiah, not you, at Kanye West, so you might want to reconsider. He also wrote, at Real Candace, good luck glomming on to Kanye West. His family already told him you were a phony and a fraud, a former Democratic bad actress. But I don't even want to talk about this anymore.
Complete
Candace
douche.
now joins us
Here she is. All right.
You are a total star. I watched that tape. I am so impressed and so happy.
And here's the thing. Generally, the truth will prevail. Generally, the truth will prevail. She says that blacks are ideological slaves and pawns to the Democrat Party. That is so true. And I started saying that years ago when Hillary Clinton talked about leaving the plantation. I don't even remember what the hell the speech was, but I went, plantation? The Democrat Party's a plantation. 95% of blacks vote for Democrats. And when they don't, they're maligned, they're shredded, they're called, like I said, Uncle Toms, all these things. Unbelievable.
For you, that you have this gift.
Wouldn't you hate to have to be compelled to think a certain way and vote a certain way?
But I am so sad for you also that you have to take on those vicious attacks like that.
Thank you so much, first of all, for the compliment. It means a lot coming from you. And let me tell you, do not be sad for me. This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I intended to happen because I knew exactly what I was going up against. When you go up against the left, this is what they do.
Yep.
They try to essentially say that you are not allowed to think differently. I say it all the time. Blacks are ideological slaves and pawns to the Democratic Party.
That is exactly true. That is exactly true. and she's an independent thinker. But instead of just, I guess, disagreeing, just having an intellectual argument, you can't do that. You can't do that if you are a black person in this country and you are conservative. That's just the way it is. It's honestly, it is breathtaking. It is absolutely breathtaking with regard to it. Oh, did you hear Donald Trump going off on Jim Comey? Jim Comey was on with Anderson Cooper last night. And Jim Comey denied that there is a deep state, which is absolute bullcrap. The deep state is deeper than we could even imagine, and it is populated by Democrats and liberals who want to stay in office. And also, I might add, big government conservatives. It is a deep state. He also denied passing confidential information and sharing it with a colleague who shared it with the press. But here's the president this morning on Fuego on Fox and Friends.
Look, Comey is a leaker and he's a liar. And not only on this stuff, he's been leaking for years. He's probably been using his friend, the so-called professor, who now turns out to have FBI clearance, which he never said. He even lied about that because he never said that in Congress. He said he gave it to a friend. And he gave it to a friend to leak classified information. It's all classified. It was totally classified. So he did an illegal act. And he said it himself, in order to get a special counsel against me. So the special counsel, and by the way, and Intelligence Committee and everybody else has found no collusion. There's no collusion with me and the Russians. Nobody's been tougher to Russia than I am. You can ask President Putin about that. There's been nobody. Between the military and the oil and all of the other things that I've done, the aluminum tax, they send us a lot of aluminum, and I put tariffs on aluminum coming in. The 60 people that we sent out, the 60 so-called diplomats. Nobody's been tougher. Nobody's even been close to as tough as me.
And by the way, and I said this during the election, there's no reason why the Russians would have wanted Donald Trump in the White House over Hillary Clinton. For a lot of reasons. Uranium one, okay? Uranium one. She was a Secretary of State that could be bought and paid for. She was a bumbling idiot who did nothing while she was Secretary of State but fly around. You know, she gave the Russian ambassador a reset button, but it actually meant overcharge. And she bumbled and stumbled her way through being Secretary of State. And then 20% of our uranium rights in this country sold to a Russian company. And Hillary Clinton's foundation got $150 million. From Russian companies, Russian government-owned companies. I don't know. Duh. I mean, really? Here's a little bit more from the president.
And we hear this nonsense going. So there's no collusion whatsoever. Well, Comey, what he did, Brian, was terrible. He leaked classified information in order to try and get a special counsel.
He says it wasn't classified, Mr. President. He says it wasn't classified.
Oh, it's totally classified. And he also leaked the memos, which are classified. Nobody unclassified them. And those memos were about me, and they're phony memos. He didn't write those memos accurately. He put a lot of phony stuff. For instance, I went to Russia for a day or two, because I own the Miss Universe pageant. So I went there to watch it because it was near Moscow. So I go to Russia. Now, I didn't go there. Everybody knows the logs are there. The planes are there. He said, I didn't stay there at night. Of course I stayed there. I stayed there a very short period of time, but of course I stayed. Well, his memo said I left immediately. I never said that.
Okay. Yeah, just ridiculous. And this is about, and I've said this about the election of 2016. The election of 2016 was about people being sick and tired of people going to Washington, D.C. and spending their lives telling us how to live ours. And there's a different standard in Washington, D.C. 10 or 12 of the richest counties in the country surround Washington, D.C. There's a lot of money in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of money, man. Oh, and you can go to Washington, D.C. and you can get set up with a government job that pays 70% over the private sector. It does. You get pensions. You get benefits. You get book deals. All of this stuff. So it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. It's like, you remember the vampire movie like Fright Night? Remember Fright Night from the late 80s? You know, vampires always die really ugly in the movies. They die, screaming and all that crap. That's when these bureaucrats' careers are coming to a close, that's the ugly that you get. That's the ugly that you get. Unbelievable. Oh, I got a friend. By the way, I thought you might play this for you. I've got a friend named Ron, and he's got a YouTube page. It's called Ronnie Bus, the Ronnie Bus, Ronnie Bus. And he did a Stormy parody. I want to play the Stormy Daniels parody about the sorted Stormy Daniels. Isn't it funny? It's kind of funny that it's illegal for you to be paid to have sex. With the exception of, a couple places in Nevada. But if there's a camera and like a cameraman and a producer in this and a director in there, then it's fine. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny. Here is the parody from my friend Ron and the Ronnie Bus on YouTube. Here it is.
You were with Trump, huh, baby? You're more Bubba style. A bimbo eruption, well played. All of a sudden, your old fame's going down. But you found a way to have it made. Say you got paid. Oh, Stormy. Oh, Stormy. Who cares who died or named?
And she's like she's a celeb. I mean, she's been treated like this is a woman who, you'd have to wear all sorts of layers of protection, Like you'd have to wear a garbage bag, and then you have to duct tape your entire body. But there you go, the unlikely heroes of the left versus women who were legitimately abused by Bill Clinton and not invited on The View. A little bit more from this parody.
Yesterday you were starting down on your love.
You.
But like your story, luck changed.
Thanks for not rhyming luck with another word.
This plan is plucky, baby, and it's ballsy and bold. But you'd stop if you had a brain. You're in front of Trump's train. Oh, Stormy. Oh, Stormy. You've sunk to Curtis Bay.
And listen, I'm, whatever. I'm not a big porn guy. This is my life stage, But this woman's got a daughter. Dropping the kid off at daycare a little early so I can go to the strip club. Wow. So the president of Media Matters for America, which is a massive left-wing terror group with regard to the First Amendment, said they will not target advertise on Joy Reid's MSNBC program, explaining that her old blog posts on her blog suggesting adult gay men tend to be attracted to very young post-pubescent types do not meet the high threshold the organization requires for ad boycotts. Now, all that Laura Ingraham did was say, David Hogg, you couldn't get into 4 universities in California because your ATT scores were 100 points lower than the average students at the schools. Did you know that? I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. The reason he didn't get accepted because his ACT score was 100 points less than the average student. But, what's her name? No, I can't remember her name on CNN. Used to be on Fox. I'm drawing a blank on her name. But, she's not going to be boycotted. Even though, and she also called Ann Coulter a drag queen. Apparently very, very bigoted towards the LGBT community. I love it when the left eats its own, but I hate it when the left has a double standard. I've got a good buddy named Chris Plant, who's a nationally syndicated talk show host, and he says, if liberals didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all. And that's true. That's very true. All right, we got some other stuff I want to throw out here. Bernie Sanders set to announce a federal jobs proposal that would guarantee a job with at least $15 per hour minimum wage and health benefits to every American who wants or needs one. Still in the early stages of crafting the plan. They have no details of the plan's funding. Now, you'll recall the international, or the national, I should say, Fight for 15. It was 10-10. Do you remember that? Do you remember just for literally for maybe a month or two, it was a 10-10. And that went away. It was just 10-10, okay? All they wanted was 10-10. And now it's $15. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because 10-10 is not enough to pay union dues. That's what it's all about. 10-10 is not enough to pay union dues. $15 is getting there. You pay a few $100s a year. You can pay union dues. And unions are largely, particularly public sector unions. And by the way, these jobs are all about, these are jobs that are infrastructure jobs. These are jobs that are government jobs. That's what they want to do. Okay, and the government and the Democrat Party has not changed a thing about their plan for the economy since Roosevelt's New Deal. It's just a rehash of the New Deal every damn year. It's just about government work. But now the wage is $15 an hour. And now the public sector unions can get paid and then donate money to Democrat candidates. Associated Press declared Debbie Lesko the winner of Tuesday's special election in Arizona's 8th congressional district over Democrat Hyrule Tepernany. Debbie ran a smart campaign focused on the issues that voters cared about, like having more take-home pay, fewer regulations, and a secure border. Yeah. Wait, really? I thought there was going to be a blue wave. A blue wave. That means the Democrats' magic number to regain majority control of the House remains at 23 seats. Democrats are hoping they have a blue wave, but the only thing they have to offer is a $15 minimum wage. And what is the key word in that expression? Minimum. That's what the Democrats offer. They offer the minimum. Wouldn't you rather have the maximum? I'd rather have the maximum. And like I said, if there's going to be this massive sweep of Democrats into Congress, I'm not seeing it yet. Okay? I'm not seeing it yet. I could be wrong, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it in the polling. I'm not seeing it in anything. In anything. Because they don't have a plan. They don't have a positive agenda. They are going to raise the minimum wage, spend lots of tax money, give people the minimum, and then that's it. That's it. I had heard Democrats talking today. I don't have the story right in front of me. I don't know where I put it. Democrats saying we want to have a plan to fix this economy. Well, right now the economy is being fixed. I mean, if you listen to the beginning of the show, I talked about 29-year low for unemployment filings. Or no, 49 years. I apologize. 49 years. And, There you go. African-American unemployment at the lowest level it's been in recorded history in the United States. All of that stuff. All of that stuff. I want to mention something real quick here. Apu from The Simpsons. He's the latest target for the politically incorrect left in this country, or politically correct left in this country. And he's been around forever. A lot of the times, like for instance, I was watching, what the hell was it? Mickey Rooney movie. Oh, it was Breakfast at Tiffany's the other day. I was watching it with my wife, dear God in heaven. But it had Mickey Rooney as this pigeon Chinese cliche, okay? And, okay, I could see, that'd probably be a problem. Hank Azaria is the guy who is doing Apu's voice, has done it for 30 years. By the way, The Simpsons, check this out, been on the air almost 30 years. They just aired episode 635, which means they moved past Gunsmoke as the most episodes of a TV show. Man, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's 29 years. Unbelievable. Hank Azaria was on the other night with Stephen Colbert talking about Apu. And he's getting a lot of pressure. And here's the thing. He's not the character. I mean, he doesn't write. I would assume he doesn't write the scripts. The scripts are written for him, and he delivers the lines. But, there are stereotypes in this world. And it doesn't mean that everybody is like this. Farmers in the Midwest, largely white dudes. Largely kind of white dudes. That's what happens. I grew up there. I still live there. And there are some stereotypes that are just kind of, like leftist liberals on campus. Smell like patchouli. Wear Birkenstock sandals. Yeah. Or Crocs. Crocs are very comfortable. But here is Hank Azaria talking about Apu and whether or not it is, if he regrets doing it.
Yeah, not just actors. Of course I understand. I mean, it's come to my attention more and more, especially the last couple of years, as you say, that people in the South Asian community in this country have been fairly upset by the voice and characterization.
Did that surprise you?
Of Apu. Not over time. It did when I first heard about it, absolutely. And it's sparked a lot of conversation about what should be done with the character going forward, which is not so easy to answer. And I've tried to express this before. The idea that anybody was young or old, past or present, was bullied or teased based on the character of Apu, it just really makes me sad. It was certainly not my intention. I wanted to spread laughter and joy with this character. And the idea that it's, brought pain and suffering in any way, that it was used to marginalize people, it's upsetting.
It was not used to marginalize people. It was nobody, everybody, for as long as the show was on, and is on, didn't think twice of Apu. We thought it was a funny character. Wasn't marginalizing anybody. Wasn't getting anybody bullied. Come on, man. We just laugh. Dear Lord in heaven. Before I go, I want to tell you about my one of my glorious sponsors, Pit Barrel Cookers. Pit Barrel Cookers. That one right there is the classic. You just put charcoal on the bottom of it and wood if you want to smoke. Then you just open, there's this little vent in the back, and you just leave whatever you're cooking in there. That's what you do. All right? See that food there on the right? I did that. I know, look at that brisket on the bottom there. Holy hell. And the pork butts on the left. I like pork butts, and I cannot lie. If you want to order one, you can get the classic, you can get the mini, and all the accessories. LibertyOneTV.com/cooker. LibertyOneTV.com/cooker. All right? You could be a pitmaster. You can smoke, you can slow roast, you can grill. All of those things. Normally, you're not going to get that in one unit. I have an electric smoker. You can't grill on an electric smoker. You can slow roast, but you're only going to go to 250 degrees. So, LibertyOneTV.com/Pit Barrel. It really is a glorious company owned by veterans, and they are absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right. So I think I'm going to go. Thank you.